More time for friends, family, and the beautiful things in life. More freedom. Less stress. Doesn't that just sound wonderful? Minimalism is on everyone's lips. We hear stories from people who live with 100 things and less, who can pack their belongings into a backpack and travel around the world. But is this really as great as everyone claims? Is it worth giving up everything to be able to live the dream of a free and fulfilled life? As I told you in my last video, I stumbled up on the minimalist lifestyle last year. I gave up my apartment and sold almost all my belongings. And all this during a worldwide crisis that forced us to stay home. Great timing. Slowly I realized what I had done. Was this perhaps not such a good idea? After all, I still had my job and couldn't just disappear to a sunny island. But I wanted to do this. To experience the freedom promised by the minimalism gurus. The initial feeling of happiness was incredible. No more obligations. Just coming home in the evening and enjoying the end of the day. Marie Kondo says in her book that things are constantly talking to us subconsciously. The book we bought years ago still wants to be read. The jeans that have been too small for a long time are constantly telling us that we should go to the gym, and so on. I can only agree with her. In fact, you suddenly have a lot of time on your hands. But for me, this was not a positive feeling at first. I felt empty. Because even though thoughts like, if only I had more time, then I would, stressed me out, I had gotten so used to them that I felt lost without them. Maybe you've also had the situation where you said goodbye to something, be it a person or a job, and even though it was worth it in retrospect, you had to really suffer at first. The emptiness was almost unbearable. I threw myself into everything I had left. I worked non-stop, exercised a lot, and tried to keep myself busy all the time. I know that sounds really weird, but I simply couldn't stand having little responsibilities. And there was another negative aspect. I was dependent. It made me feel guilty that I had to constantly stay at other people's apartment. In addition, I had probably overdone it a bit with the decluttering. I constantly had to ask my friends if they could borrow me something nice to wear or a warm jacket. So instead of feeling free, I now felt helpless. And without the constantly overflowing to-do list, I somehow didn't know what to do with myself. Instead of recognizing this fact, I simply looked for new things to stress myself with. I had become so accustomed to constantly having something unfinished that I was comfortable with it. It wasn't a positive emotion, but I was simply addicted. Up until now, it has been a real roller coaster. Some days I knew who I was and how to bring joy into this world. Other days I cried for hours, regret, and felt alone. Because while some of my loved ones accepted my choices, most people scared me with their negative stories and kept telling me how dangerous and stupid my new lifestyle is. Even though I knew that I shouldn't care, it still hurt me. But fortunately, I was able to learn through this experience that what people say usually has more to do with their own fears than with what I do. So what is my conclusion after these months with few possessions? Has the path to a more minimalistic lifestyle been worth it for me? Definitely. Even if minimalism is no guarantee for happiness, Over a longer period of time, the positive aspects outweighed the negative for me. In life, sometimes you need an extreme opposite to get back into balance. That is what extreme minimalism provided me. I'm happy to share my experience on this journey here with you and can't wait to talk to you again in my next video. Kisses!